Welcome to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I'm your host, Garrick Lowen, here with Nicholas Chase and Jackson Laundry. Welcome back to the one and only Real Triathlon Podcast. I don't remember what I was going to say for the intro, but I'm here with Jackson Laundry and Lisa Bacaris, or Bacaris, depending on you. What's the first A?
Vicaris, like I care. I have to most of my best friends don't know how to pronounce my last name. And it's a thing. Coach Matt Lieto can't pronounce it. And he every time he's on the Ironman broadcast, he's like, Lisa Pacheris. I'm like, damn it, Matt. You coach
I
me. You
know
can't even say
that's why I
my
said
last
it,
name.
because he always calls you Pacheris, and it's funny because he's your coach.
I sent him a little audio message after the last race and I was like, Lisa Bacaris. And I said it a couple times so hopefully 2025 he turns a new leaf.
Yeah, I mean, I think my name gets pronounced more wrong than yours.
Landry.
Landry, Loudry, Laundry. Landry's the most common though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Sometimes
about
they even just take the N out, Loudry. It's really weird.
I like it better. Jackson Loudry.
Yeah, me too, but that's not what it is. So today's episode is Lisa just lets out all of her thoughts about the bad things in endurance sport, and we're just on for the ride. And Lisa and I are going to get into a debate about indoor versus outdoor training, and I'm going to win.
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna throw some F bombs. Um
We're all gonna win.
Yeah.
I do. I think Garrick, though, do you want to announce your first race? Because you just said you signed up for your first race. Want to let us know what it is?
I did sign up for my first race. Finally, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for the year. And so naturally I just signed up for an Ironman. So I signed up for Ironman Texas. I will be there. Yeah, opening race. My opening race of the season always goes terribly. So naturally, you got distance, right?
Well, why don't you come to Oceanside with Mark and Greg and I, and you can
That
open
thing
up
was
and have a
full,
terrible race there.
that thing's
First of
probably
all,
full.
yeah, first of all, it's full, and I committed to my buddy's wedding the next weekend, so I didn't want to leave and then leave again to his wedding and then not train at all for 2 weeks and then go race an Ironman.
We'd be so fresh.
Yeah.
Weddings are overrated. Come on. Races over weddings. Isn't that the theme of 2025?
Yeah, Lisa's not
Yeah,
going to show up
races
to her
over
own wedding.
I suckered Leslie into having to come to my wedding. So, because she's going to be a bridesmaid. So she has to forfeit.
Seems fair enough.
Oh, I guess Jack turned down his spot.
You
Mayor
did.
Varner, actually.
Yeah. As long as you give a good speech.
I could maybe pull it off. But in any case, weddings, triathlons. What was the first topic? We were gonna rip into people who do something. I forget what it was.
Well, I have one topic I want to start with. Coaches who coach professional triathletes who take a percentage of their winnings. It's pretty common in triathlon. A lot of people might not be familiar if you're not a professional triathlete. There's a lot of coaches out there who have something in their contract with an athlete that they coach that say, I get 10% of all your race winnings, or I get 15% of your top 3 race winnings of the year, things like that. And I'm like strongly against that. And I've worked with coaches before that have had that clause in there. And I'm strong. And their reasoning was that, like, oh, it gives me like more motivation to work harder to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. Like the harder I work, I should get a bonus too. And my reasoning is, hey, if I'm going to hire you and work with you, you should be working as hard as you can to make me successful, whether or not you're going to get a bonus on top of it. And if that's the case, like they're so interested in getting athletes' percentages of their winnings, make your monthly fee higher if that's what your concern is.
But that could cover Training Peaks Premium.
Hey, you don't have to have Training Peaks Premium to work with me. Just putting it out there. So do you
All
guys
right,
have
well,
thoughts?
I'm a devil's advocate. I agree with you, but I also don't blame them because it's not like they're tricking the athlete or something. I'm sure. I mean, maybe it's happened, but as long as the athlete knows, okay, fair enough. I give this percent when I'm top 3 or whatever. I also think it's hard to argue with if someone's like a world level athlete and like let's say you're coaching Annie Haug and she gives you 5% of her prize money winnings. It's hard to imagine not, even if it's subconsciously, that wouldn't affect the coach, how much time or research the coach is going to do into exactly what might be perfect, or even spending more time going out with the athlete and training. I don't know. I could see. I agree. I think you like. I wouldn't want to do it that way. With paying coach that way, and I never have. But I still can see why for some people, and some people are just more financially motivated. And if it's like, all right, if the coach is being honest that they're going to do better that way, then maybe it's fair enough. I don't know. But yeah, I've always been weirded out by that because it would like I would just hate for it to be like, oh, sweet, I just crushed it at this race, made a bunch of money, but you made less than you thought because your coach just took 10%. Like that would kind of suck.
Right. And we're not in a sport where everyone's making a killing. That's the thing. It's most if you're outside of I don't know what number we've decided. Outside of the top 20, 30, 40, whatever. Like you're not making bank in this sport. So it's just another like I remember a few years ago I was working with a coach and they took I think it was 15% of my winnings and it's like I walked, I got $1,000 at a race and not that that's a killing, but you're walking away with 850 instead. That $150 goes far. Pays
Well,
for
it,
like
it goes
bike
really
fees.
far because it's 150 out of your profit. So if that race cost you 600 to go to, now instead of 400 profit, you only have 250, which is way more than a 15% difference.
Right.
So that's where it's tough. But yeah, definitely for like any athlete that's like either either making less than they're spending on the sport or like barely breaking even, I would say definitely not the best move in my opinion. But we lost Garrick, so
Damn it,
um
Garrick.
he was
Said I'm
about to
the
say something
host.
really cool. You're the host now, so you're gonna have to let him back in.
Does it just pop up somewhere?
uh I don't know what happens. We'll message him on WhatsApp.
Garrick, you're
Okay,
gonna have
stand
to edit
by.
this out.
Oh, he's coming
He's
back.
back.
He's back.
Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I'm Garrick Lowen. And just
Holy
took a
fuck.
brief break.
Yeah, the whole thing, like all my Zoom shut down. I completely lost internet connection. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
That was weird.
Yeah,
It's still recording. Will it go to your recording still?
I hope so. We'll see.
It should. Anyways, we just finished saying it's if they're taking a certain percentage, it's actually like kind of more than that percentage because it comes off your profit. So in some cases, it could be like all the profit you made at that race goes to the coach. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we jump into it.
Yeah, re-jump into it. So as Cat Matthews' coach, personally, I don't think it's that bad of an idea.
Yeah.
Oh man, because I mean,
Oh,
could
but
you
now with the
imagine?
Ironman series and stuff, do you think that counts as prize money?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's a whole thing. But okay, so this is kind of think about it. It allows the coach to invest more in that athlete. So think of like the Norwegians coach, or perhaps, yeah, like Cat Matthews coach, or something like that, like where you're constantly away on training camps. And this allows them to take that money, reinvest it into training you. So, like being more hands on, being more around, doing more training camps, as opposed to having to kind of just stay home and work on the computer.
that's my reasoning is that if the athlete needs that, like if the coach needs that money to put on training camps and stuff or whatnot, that is a necessity for that athlete's success, they should just charge the athlete a higher monthly or yearly premium. And
Hang on.
that's
Okay.
the service you should get.
So I'm trying to think of if I was like Christian Bloomfeld, and I was making that much money, I think I'd prefer to give a prize money percentage because if they're like, okay, then we'll charge you $5,000 a month or whatever, $2,000 a month, then you get injured or have a bad year, you still have to pay that amount and you might not be making that much. So I can kind of see it. Like I see both. I see both sides, but I will say for the vast majority of athletes, I don't think it makes sense to go the prize money percentage. But at the high end, maybe it could start to make sense. Like the very high end, like the top like 15 type thing.
Yeah. I can see that a little bit. I'll give a little bit on that side. When I make that much money, I'm still not going to work with a coach that takes a cut.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't think I would either. Well, especially because our coach just grandfathered us in for like the 10-15 year ago rate. So good old James.
I mean,
Shout
and
out.
at that point, if you were make it like big, I feel like I would like try to give something really nice to my coach. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, like we did this. This is cool. Like, I don't know.
Here's a gift basket.
Here's a gift card to Chipotle. $100.
Yeah.
Big spender.
It's good. I actually don't think there's a right answer. I think whatever as an athlete you feel kind of works out and you feel is justified. I know Lisa grinds her gears, but
It's just a topic I think about sometimes when
yeah,
I'm on my bike ride.
I think it's an interesting discussion because it's like, you know, horses for courses.
And I think it's a lot of something that a lot of amateur age group athletes aren't aware of that happens in the sport, or is, one of the things that is part of professional triathlon. But
Yeah.
to shift this a little bit, now instead of like talking about, bashing on coaches, I want to bash on athletes a little bit.
Yes.
And
Boom.
so a pet peeve of mine is when you have an athlete that constantly blames their coach for their shortcomings, especially, and I want to be more specific on for in the professional triathlon or just specifically like professional sports in general side of things versus like high school and college, I think is a little bit debatable, but specifically in professional triathlon, because that's what we're all involved in. I've just seen athletes before like blame coaches, like, oh, I worked with that coach and I was so tired all the time, or I was hurt or I was injured and this and that. And I think I've even fallen into that trap. Like, I want to put the blame on the coach. But at the end of the day, I'm paying this person to be a collaborator with me. Like, I'm an adult and I think I have to take, or we as professional athletes have to take more, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsibility
Accountability.
on and accountability. At the end of the day, this is our profession. And if you see something that's not working, or you try to have a conversation with the coach and they don't change, then that's your sign. Move on, find somebody different. Don't just say like, oh, this coach just kept making me more tired and more tired and more tired. Like, it's on you. It's on you to communicate. It's on you to like shift. It's on you to like try to have a collaborative relationship with your coach.
I'd say that goes for age groupers too. Like,
Yeah.
you got to know yourself. And I think with age groupers, the common one is coaches that don't build the training around their life enough, or they just kind of assume that they can train as much as they need to. And this is kind of, I think this happens a lot with like people who are like high level age group, like maybe want to be pro or like new pro or something where they're still working full time. A lot of times they're just like, all right, we're going to train as much as the full time pros do. Just not sustainable. Like, it's technically possible. You can get up at 5 a.m., train 2 hours, work till 5, train 2-3 more hours, and go to bed. But you're not going to recover. You're not going to absorb it. And eventually you'll just burn out. So I think that's like the common one on kind of more the age group side. But yeah, everybody, if it's getting to a point where it's more work, like it feels like more work than fun, then probably something's off. And that goes for pros too. Like, it should be fun most of the time.
Yeah. Jackson, quit eating.
It's an orange. It's healthy.
Yeah, I know, but you're still eating and talking.
Oh, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh.
like like eating ice cream, and then I'm like, okay, he's done. And he's eating an orange. So if you, I'm not editing this out. If if you like if you're on a call with your coach and all he's doing is eating, I think maybe it's time for a new coach.
You got to find somebody
Um,
with better
yeah.
priorities.
No, I think like yeah, you have to take ownership of your training. And just like your life and your accountability, and the coach really can only do so much. I find that the athletes that really blame the coach are the ones who want the coach to micromanage their entire lives. And that's really the only way. If a coach does micromanage your entire life, then that's kind of the only time that you can really blame them. But even then, there's still intangibles, um, like your mental game, how you perform in a race, right? Um, how you set up your equipment, stuff like that. And I don't like it goes the same way with like I don't think the coach is responsible for all your failures, but then they can't be responsible for all your success too, right?
Hmm.
And do some athletes do jive better with other coaches, and that's fine. I think there's an argument to be made about switching coaches every 3 to 5 years or something like that. Like sometimes the relationship does kind of run its course, and that there's nothing wrong with moving on from a coach, and there's nothing wrong with sticking with a coach if that coach is adapting and listens to you and talks to you. Like I've been with the same coach my entire career, and my training has never like it's evolved over those 10 years, and he's allowed me to bring in other people that have advised me on other things, and he doesn't have an ego like that. And I think that's kind of helped me, especially like as my life has changed and stuff like that. So I just never moved on. And when I have a bad race, I don't turn around and blame James. I never look at the training that he gave me and be like, ah, just awful because of this. It was that one session. He gave me 5 by 1K. It should have been 6 by 800.
Yeah,
Like,
classic. And that's
you know,
the other thing too. Like, I think part of it is sometimes people need to realize you don't need to do 100% of everything to the exact T that it says. Because like plus or minus 10 or 15 or even 20% per workout, miss one a week. Maybe you switch your workout because your buddy's doing something slightly different. That type of stuff shouldn't totally break your brain. And a lot of us are like so OCD about like you have to follow everything exactly. And like I was used to be more like that, gotten kind of more away from that now, and it's better. Like I'm happier, and you still do like 80% of the same stuff most of the time, and you don't get stressed if you have to modify something a little bit. So I think that's a big thing too. When like if you feel like you have to blame your coach when you knew, oh frig, I was real tired this one day and I could have just dialed it back a bit and then recovered better or just skipped something. Like you got to listen to yourself too. So it's a combination, and most coaches will say that. They'll be like, look, you got to listen to yourself too, and like things might need to be modified as we go, and sometimes missing something or changing something is not a bad call. But Garrick, you're changing colors there. Is your mic is your mic changing colors?
I feel like my computer is like fighting real hard right now to hang on
Stay
to that
alive.
Wi-Fi signal.
You just like went green for a second. I was like, is Garrick about to puke?
I like just like trash talking Jack for eating, and then my technology just can't handle a
Yeah.
simple video call.
Can't hang.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty much that. That's a good point, Lisa. I think, yeah. It's not if you're blaming your coach for everything, just change your coach. Like,
Yeah, you're obviously like you're not happy. So it's on you. We're adults. Make your own decisions. Okay, next topic I want to talk about because this is a current frustration in my life. So, one of my goals this year is to race US Pro Nationals in the TT, the time trial, cycling. Like pull a Taylor nib, do what she did. Um, but to race in Pro Nationals, you have to be a Cat 2 or Cat 1 or on a UCI team or on a domestic elite team. That's like the criteria to get into this race. Or you can write a letter. And this is, I think, the route that I'm going to have to go and try to like plead your case as to why you think you should be competing in this race. Just to put that out there, I emailed USA. I'm currently a Cat 3 racer on the road. I haven't done a road or crit race since 2021. I emailed USA Cycling to see if they would upgrade me, and I told them that my only basis is like I just want to race time trials. I have zero interest in doing road races or crit races.
Can you explain the Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 stuff?
Yeah. So in cycling, is this international thing, or is
No,
it
it's
just
just US.
US?
It's just
Oh,
US.
okay. So basically there can be up to 5 categories. Cat 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I think 1 and pro are kind of one and the same, but I don't fully understand that. The lower the number, the higher, the better rider you are. And to cat up, you have to earn a certain amount of upgrade points once you reach that based on results. So, and you get different points based on like what place you finish, how many people were in the field type of thing. So, for me to cat up to a cat 2, I need 30 upgrade points, and they have to be within the past, I think it was 36 months. So like I literally have 0. Also, you don't get upgrade points for time trials, like where you finish in a time trial. So you can't like just race time trials and try to upgrade yourself. So anyways, does that kind of explain categories?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And so I'm signed up to do this race in the Valley of the Sun stage race in Arizona in like a week and a half. And there's a time trial, there's a road race, and there's a crit race. I want to race with the P1-2 women, so the Pro 1-2, but I'm a Cat 3. So they won't actually let me race with them, but I told them I'm only planning on doing the time trial. Like it literally I can't, so they don't want to cap people up because they're scared that they're going to crash people out in road races or crit races. That's why they want you to have to prove that you're a certain capability, so you're not going to cause mass casualties every race, and that you have like the speed, technical handling ability, just you're good enough. But anyways, they turned me down. They said that I can't race in the P1-2 field. Fine, I'm going to race as a Cat 3. But I'm just super annoyed because I want to make this campaign. I want to try to, and I can compare my own results in Cat 3 to what the P1-2 women did in time trialing, and especially because I think we're like right next to each other in terms of start time. But had we been 2 hours different, it's a little bit harder to compare if the race weather changes, like if it becomes windy, things like that. Anyway, so I'm really frustrated right now that there is no avenue where you can upgrade to a specific higher category in the time trial. Just because
Seems like
I
it should
think,
be a totally different sport.
well, and that's what I'm trying to like I want to, I specifically, like for personal reasons, want there to be an avenue, but also for like people in the future who want to do this, that just want to focus on time trialing and not road racing or crit racing, doing all that stage racing. It's for me, it's like you're like, if you were a swimmer, you're a 1650 freestyle specialist, and they say you have to get enough first place finishes in the 100-meter breaststroke for you to compete at the highest level in this 1650.
Yeah, it does seem weird. I've actually thought about like if time trialing was a separate sport, I would go for it and like just do it for fun sometime or see how I could do. It's just weird to me. It is weird how you have to do the like draft legal road style racing as well to be able to qualify for the high level in the time trial. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally hear you on that. Like it's not even the same bike.
It's a different,
Not the same wheels. Like
Not the same
it's
bike, not the same rules,
totally different.
not the
Different
same
helmets.
skill set. It's
Yeah.
very different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and Jackson, you could do the Paula Finley. She's like a 2 or 3 time national Canadian TT champion.
Yeah, I can probably just enter
Yeah.
in
It's just
Canada.
they make it so much harder in the US. And it's like obviously we have strong female cycling in the US, but like it can be so much more dominant if you just open up the avenues a little bit and get, some people who might not be interested in these mass road races because they're scared of crashing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a big risk. It's like join this
Well,
giant road race and then
it's funny because didn't Taylor qualify for also the road race in the Olympics through the time trial?
Yeah.
But she like doesn't race crits or anything, doesn't do road racing or anything like that.
Right. And that makes no sense to me. And I think like she does have plans. I've listened to a podcast before where she hopes to be like maybe in the next Olympics, like do the road race and things like that. And she just wants to work on her cycling abilities, bike handling abilities, and she could probably be really good at that. Um, but it's crazy that and I don't know if it's just like USA Cycling. That's how they were like, oh, if you finished first in the time trial, like you should be able to race the road race. It should be different criteria. Have a road race. Have to finish in the top 2 in that, and then you can qualify. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and
It's just
the
all
girl
backwards.
took her spot, won gold, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And USA Cycling did not want her to race in the road race because they said the chances of her winning it were like so slim to none that they just wanted her to focus on the track events. And she went and like proved him wrong. So like you never know what's gonna happen. So all the people in like all these high and mighty positions, like maybe just take a chance on some people. That's my
yeah,
rant.
there's too much bureaucracy in all sports, is my opinion. But anyways,
100%.
all right, that's Lisa's gonna go to the Olympics for time trial. That's what I learned about that.
No, I just want to try it, see how I'd stack up, learn
No, you do
something.
great. Well, if
It's
Taylor
a
Nibb's the best in the country,
yeah.
like you'd obviously be competitive.
I think it's well, there's this girl Chloe Dygert who's pretty phenomenal. And I think she finished third at the Olympics. She didn't go to USA TT Nationals last year, so I think her and Nib could have duked it out pretty good. But such a different position on the TT bike versus like what we're allowed to do. You have to slam your saddle way back. Your reach can't be as far out. So if that's something I do want to take and I'm allowed to get into, I'd have to kind of rethink or like have another fit on my TT bike. So something else to learn, focus on.
Another reason for me to not do
I
it.
don't know what they allow with your saddle angle. I don't know if that's a yay, nay.
I changed
thing.
I reduced it to like probably 12 degrees.
5 degrees down. That's one of our most viewed videos on Instagram is the video of your saddle at like 17.5-degree tilt down.
Yeah.
It's funny because it doesn't even seem like that big of a deal. Like it's just I've always looked at him and like, oh yeah, that's just kind of how it is. Like, and everyone lost their mind. They're like, what do you mean you don't have it stuck right up your butthole?
That can't be right. Well, here's a story about my saddle. I always used to struggle horribly on flat courses. My lower back would just see like I would have to get out of aero in the last like half of a 70.3, and I was just like, all right, I'm just not good on flat courses. I literally can't do it. And then one time I was like, I'm gonna put my saddle down and maybe my lower back will feel better. And then I went to Indian Wells 70.3 right after that, which was 2 days after the Challenge Daytona or whatever it was, Clash Daytona, and it was a flat course, and I rode like hour 57 or something and did like 330 watts, and I rode with Sam Long the whole way. So I was like, that helped a lot. I actually could stay aero the whole time. It still didn't feel, my back didn't feel great, but I didn't have to get out of aero. So it was a big difference. And ever since then, I've had a big saddle angle. So moral of the story is, if it works for you, everyone else can frig off.
That's awesome. I love it.
I think Jack is more right than wait, that's not. Yeah, Jack's definitely more right than everybody else is. I think there's something to it. I think most of us don't tilt the saddle of our or the nose of our saddles down enough. I
Well,
think
if you
we
think
all
about what the position is, your back is almost flat and your
Yeah.
saddle is literally the opposite way. But when you're standing upright, like your saddle is basically flat, which is how it would be if you were sitting straight up. Why would it not tilt forward as you tilt forward? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
And we're always trying to like rotate our pelvis like forward.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I don't
always
know.
trying to roll your pelvis, and you just can't do it when it's shoved up your butt. Like,
Yeah. There's
like I
quite a
think
few people
my
having a down
yeah,
tilted saddle.
my saddle's tilted down. It's not to the same extent, but like it's probably close to 10 degrees.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Mine's at like 3. It's like a nice 3-degree tilt.
yeah,
But that I also think it's because I like to keep my air bars a little bit flatter. And had I been like even more tilted, I think I'd feel like would be falling off the front of my bike. But a lot of you guys have your arms higher. So you're like
Mhm.
hammocked in.
Yeah, true.
yeah.
What was
Yeah.
next on the hit list there, Lisa?
Oof. Well, Ventum announced that there are people that are sticking around on for sponsored athletes again. Can we just give it a shout out to Cody Beals, who's been with Ventum for 10 years?
I don't
That's
know
a
if that's
Did they just like
I
totally
don't
mess up that social media post?
From
no.
Ventura, California.
Yeah.
I
Cody Beals now based out of Ventura, California.
they did mess up where he's out of. I might this is I think his 10th year with them. But for me, this is my 6th year with him, but they put 5. Like they just did I just answered the question a bit differently. But yeah, he's definitely been with it for a while. I feel like Jocelyn's been longer than 4, but anyways.
Wait, 10
Oh,
years is a long time
but
to be
yeah,
with
see, they
a
have Jason as 5, but I definitely started with Ventum at least a year before Jason. So I think I've been with them longer. I I remember they started sponsoring me after I got third at 70.3 St. George, North American champs. I think it was like Rudy. I can't remember, but I got third. I think that was 2019. So it's been 6 years. This would be my seventh, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
It's still a long time.
yeah.
You don't really get in the triathlon world, you don't get those long year after year partnerships a lot. I feel like you see 2, 3, 4 years sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
then the partnership seems to fizzle out. So that's saying a lot on both you and Ventum. So
So you were
good
giving
work.
Benton props for sticking with people for a while. Was that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, and I was gonna rip you a new one.
Me? What did I do?
Yeah, because you said in their announcement post, let me bring it up here.
Oh, favorite
Um,
favorite way to ride as a trainer or
yeah,
something like that?
unpopular
Oh
opinion.
yeah.
Riding the trainer will build more fitness than riding outside.
Yeah.
If you hate your life.
Change my mind.
So I think you're a more miserable person riding inside because you don't get the enjoyment, you don't get the fresh air, you don't get the sun, you don't get the vitamin D. Um, and so
Yeah.
happy people don't perform
But
better.
I run outside all the time and I do ride outside.
Well, yeah, but it's just you can push yourself harder outside. Builds
Eh,
better fitness.
eh.
I like at
Give me
least
some more
from
substance. I need a little more, je ne sais quoi.
I just feel like people
You
who
enjoy
are,
riding outside more so you can push yourself harder.
well, maybe that's it. But do you
Right.
enjoy riding inside more than outside?
Depends where I am, but overall I would say yes.
Inside over outside.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you see a
So
therapist?
Whoa, everybody just calm down and tell me why my side is winning this argument. Whoa.
All right. I'm coming in on Jackson's side for this one.
No.
Yes. Yes. I think the research is there and I think it just makes more sense. You're always staying on top of the pedals when you're training. I think obviously you can't develop your bike handling skills on the trainer. It doesn't matter how fast you rip down Alpe du Zwift. But if you've already gotten to a point where your bike handling skills are adequate, you need to develop that system of just being relentless on the pedals and being relentless on the bike, especially if you're training for a 70.3, training for an Ironman. There's nothing more effective in Ironman bike training than doing Ironman intervals on the trainer. And that goes for if you're in erg mode, if you're out of erg mode, but if you're constantly stomping on the pedals for
yeah.
an hour, 4 by 45 minutes, stuff like that, holding arrow,
Yep.
it will make you so much stronger. It makes riding outside just like a breeze, so easy. You feel so strong. It's almost like there's no pain to riding outside after that. Like it like numbs the
Yeah.
pain outside.
I'm going to say if you can't train hard on the trainer year round, at least one workout a week, it's a mental sign of weakness. I'm
No, no,
sorry,
no.
Lisa. I'm so
No.
sorry.
No,
And I love you
no.
to death. You're one of my greatest friends. But this is what would happen. Every year, my best rides would be in like the spring. And then throughout the summer, I would kind of be like, meh. And then if there was like a thunderstorm and once a month I would have to ride the trainer, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so hard. Garrick and I would complain about it. Like I complained about it to Garrick. I was like, why is it so hard to ride on the trainer in the summer and we do it all winter? And then I realized it's because the trainer is just harder. It's better training. It's actually harder to produce power, I think, because you're not getting that like kind of momentum of the road. So when you go out to the road, you get a free few watts. And there's in a 3 hour ride outside, how much are you actually pedaling? I know it's like if you're in Boulder and you're going up a big hill, it's a lot, but then there's the downhill and you're coasting a lot and there's stop signs and there's
You
lights.
have to compare your kilojoules from an indoor ride and an outdoor ride because that tells you how much work you did.
Yeah.
And
That
tell me what's more efficient.
And there's the time. For me, a lot of it is the time. Like you throw your bib shorts on, you grab your bottles and your food, you go out and you're ready to go. On the outdoor, you got to get your radar, make sure your radar is working, bring your flak kit, like everything
Wear a
to set it up.
shirt.
Yeah, wear a shirt. Like it's not an
More
inconsequential
laundry.
amount of time.
Exactly.
It's probably at least half an hour more efficient to just ride on the trainer. That being said, I do think it's important to do some hard riding outside, obviously more than zero.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I started riding the trainer, my FTP boosted, and I've never gone back. So,
Like you got to ride outside. I'm not saying don't ride outside. You have to. It's got to be done for your
one
mental
workout a week
sanity.
all year. That's what I tell
Yeah.
everybody. One workout a week all year on the trainer, hard intervals, specific race intervals. You will not regret it.
Exactly.
You can even warm up and cool down outside if you want, Lisa. You just got to get those freaking hard workouts on the trainer once a week. I'm telling it. We're going to send this episode to your coach, send us a clip of it. We'll be like, make her do it.
He'll be like, I can't. I've tried. Can't do it. As it's like -7 degrees outside and I'm like throwing on everything I have.
You want to talk about laundry.
Right.
But
it is.
honestly,
I will.
like there are the examples too. Lisa Becerra, super strong, never rides a trainer. Sam Long rides mostly outside all year. I think maybe he rides a trainer sometimes. I'm not too sure. There's lots of strong people who ride outside a lot.
Yeah. So, I think for me, I struggle. I think if I got one of those rocker plates, I would be a little bit better. But I don't know ever. It's just my hips, my like low back, I get achy and feel like I get more injured on the trainer because when you ride the TT, you're like, you do a little bit of rocking back and forth. And on the trainer, it doesn't rock. You don't get that momentum. I just got to slam my saddle down. Another 15 degrees.
Lisa, you're the first person I've ever heard say they got injured from riding the trainer.
I swear I'll get I will complain to Matt Lieto. I'm like, my calves are tight, my hips, my low back. It's the trainer. I can't. And okay, the worst thing in the world, and he's given this to me a couple times in the past like month because it's been really cold in Colorado earlier in January. Or like, oh, just a 3 hour like endurance ride on the trainer. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. Give me intervals. Make me focus on something. I can't because I don't do the Zwift thing. I always put it on like the flat road setting. I don't do erg mode. I'm kind of an anti-erg mode.
She can't be helped there.
Yeah, this is, and in the words of Greg Harper, Lisa is uncoachable.
I can't, but I will. Okay, this is something else that I was thinking about when I was riding my bike. This is probably like the second VO2 workout I've done in like 3 years. I never do like super hard riding. I know, crazy. I don't, but we're flipping a new leaf. I think it's we're trying something new. God, this keeps falling.
Can you just say that again? You never do hard riding?
Not like hard, not VO2 stuff. Like I literally did my first VO2 workout today and I was so stoked to have it. It was 3 by 3 minutes. It was supposed to be at like FTP. I did it above FTP. And then it was 4 by 2 minutes at like 20 watts, 25 watts higher than FTP. And then, 110% or whatever. Then it was 3 by 1 minute at like 120%. And I loved it. And it was so hard. And I want to do VO2 every week now.
That's my run workout tomorrow afternoon.
Really?
Yeah, except it's 5 by 1 minute instead of 3 by 1 minute. That's so funny.
Crazy. Well, yeah, do VO2 work. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild that you haven't. I mean, that's kind of just a different way, I guess, of approaching it. Obviously, it's worked, Lisa. Whatever you were doing, not doing VO2, obviously it worked. So I'm not gonna bash it.
Well, no, I think it excites me because I think I can develop a whole nother part of me as an athlete, especially if I want to do some time trial stuff. But I do think I respond really well to just like aerobic riding. But, like what if I can push like 270 watts in a half Ironman? How cool would that be? That'd be a lot.
That'd be crazy.
That's
I go
more
so
than Taylor Knibb.
fast.
On her
I know.
video, she said she pushes 260.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, that could be true. All right, sweet. So that's the trainer stuff. Is that the end of it? Is that the last of the hit list?
Yeah, that is pretty much it. But no, that was pretty good. So we don't have this segment going on now, but we were trying to, figure out a segment that we can do. We tried, I don't know, what was that, hot takes, or not hot takes, but
what did we call it? I don't even remember now.
clickbait takes or something. We
Clickbait
were
takes.
thinking about that, and then we were thinking about grind my gears. I think what we landed on is pass or smash.
Ooh.
So we segment today, but I'm just previewing this so that you know it's coming. It's coming next week.
Can we do like a tester one?
Stay tuned. Yeah, riding the trainer at least once a week year round, pass or smash.
Pass.
Smash.
Smash. Zone 2 swimming, pass or smash.
Pass.
I have to call Greg and ask. Depends on his mood on the day whether it's good or not.
It depends who's asking him or what you're doing. Let's just say the opposite. Lisa, you got one?
Okay.
I feel like this whole episode was kind of pass or smash.
Yeah.
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 The title's got to be in something about the trainer. Riding the trainer builds better fitness than riding outside.
Does not false. True or false?
So yeah, that'll be organized. I don't know. You guys think it should be rapid fire? Let us know.
Yeah, and if you have any
context, or should we get into it and talk to it a bit? And if you have any suggestions, shoot Lisa a DM on Instagram.
Shoot me a DM on IG.
So everybody, Lisa has a secret admirer.
I wouldn't call it a secret admirer. I just call it
an admirer.
An admirer that I'm not interested in receiving messages from anymore.
I don't think it's secret, actually. I think he commented on some posts like publicly.
I don't know, probably.
Anyway, what's the best way to handle someone who's sending you unwanted attention on Instagram? Let us smash.
Do you block them or smash?
Do you say like nicely, like please stop messaging? But I think like when you post about the fact that you're engaged in whatever, it's kind of like they know you don't want to hear about from them.
Right. Just like I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting world out there on the social media.
I can't say I've had any of these problems. How about you, Garrett?
Okay, so we did have a troller when we first started. That would go through and comment on stuff, and he would I can't remember, he would always call me fat on everything and stuff, and then what was it? I can't remember what he went after. He went after Jack, he went after Nick for stuff, And it was like, to us, it was, I don't know, it was all good fun. I didn't really care until I think he started picking on some of the girls. And then it was like, okay, that's enough, bud.
We didn't do this
Like,
anymore.
yeah. Um,
I
like
love.
it's
I
not,
mean,
you can
I,
call
I
Nick old, but that's about, come on.
yeah. I think there is like you feel like in some aspects when you have a troll, you've like made it. You know,
Yeah.
become relevant enough that someone.
Yeah. Where's all our haters at? We need to,
I
our
know
goal
we
for the
need.
year should be get more haters.
So if
Seriously.
you're a
Honestly, though,
hater out
like,
there,
yeah, that's great. So like at camp, people were talking about people that were talking about our podcast and like stuff they disagreed with us on. And I'm like, this is amazing. I've been
Yeah.
trying to get people to disagree with us forever.
Yeah, because
And
I apparently said I don't like when people who are super fast swimmers come to the race who don't really have a chance for a top 10. And I think I called Greg out directly. And then he was like, no, I'm going to swim even harder, even though you were technically that is what I do. But
we
I didn't
love
say they
it.
shouldn't go. I just said I don't like it because it makes my life suck for the race. Because I'm like, oh, instead of a minute and a half down, I'm 2.5 minutes down now.
Mhm.
But
And you know what I hate? Guys that run fast. So
yeah,
annoying. Like, guys, just stop it.
Agreed.
Like, and then they
Agreed.
run and then they get podium places. And I'm like, guys, like, come on. I
can't we
wanted one
just
of
have a
those.
Sunday jog on the freaking after the bike's done?
I agree. And if you are gonna like pass, why don't you just give me like a couple sentences? Hey Lisa, great job. You did awesome. Try again harder next time.
That's
Not
like
just
what I
like
said when I passed you in Michigan, wasn't it?
yeah. You got this. Keep going.
Somebody's gonna say that. Somebody's gonna listen to this and they're gonna say that word for word. They're gonna be like, "Great job, Lisa. Try again, harder next time."
Oh, it was awesome. So my parents know Jeannie Metzler, because we rode together a ton in 2020, and they like to call her Jeannie Weenie. So every time I race and she's there, she's like, "Is Jeannie Weenie there?" And I said, "Yes, Jeannie Weenie's racing." And at Michigan, so Jeannie won that race, and it was so funny because I was leading it was a 2-loop run course. And my parents came to it, and I passed them still in the lead going into loop 2. And right as I was passing them, Jeannie passed me and like patted me on the back and said like, "Good job, Lisa," in her cute South African accent. And my parents thought it was so funny because obviously she's the nicest person in the world, but they were like, "Oh, Jeannie just said, 'Good job, Lisa. Try again harder next time.'" You can.
That's
Anyways,
so funny.
so
But
if you're gonna pass me, say something nice to me, or just
yeah,
say like, "Suck it, Lisa." I'd laugh. That'd be awesome.
something else I hate, so is guys, there's some guys that they start at the front of the race, stay at the front of see them the whole race, and they even affect my race. So like, why are they even racing?
Hey, that's not me though, because we always get out of the water together every time, pretty much.
Yeah, I know.
There is some sort of camaraderie with the people that you get out of the water with. There's like
Yeah, you're like friends.
yeah, you're like,
I
oh,
know.
here we are again. We didn't start anywhere near each other, and
There's those people. There's those people, and then there's the people that if you get out of the water with them, you're like, God damn it. For me, that's Sam Long. I've gotten out with him like decent amount. With wetsuit swims, usually he's pretty close to me. And a couple times he's gotten out ahead of me, like right in front of me. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a hard day. Garrick froze again.
Garrick looks like he's high on drugs in that photo.
Anyways, this is probably pretty much the end of the podcast. So should we wait till Garrick or should we do the outro?
We should probably. Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
he's back.
Oh, I'm back.
Just in time.
I'm back.
We were about to end it.
Just in time. Yeah. Okay, we can end it. So, guys, thank you for tuning in.
Can't? Oh.
No, we can. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the only Canadian news network worth listening to. And just kidding. We don't deliver news here. We are not a news podcast, but we are Canadian media technically, I think.
We're fake news.
Because
Canadian
Fake
fake
news.
news.
yeah. So anyways, we got too much into that, but yeah. So Canadian media that you can trust, guys, leave us comments, leave us reviews, send us some feedback. Love to hear your feedback. Get mad at us, tell us why we're wrong, send us a DM, flood Lisa's inbox.
Yeah. Tell us why Jackson's wrong.
And guys, until next time, peace
out.